You watch me stab myself in the penis. Nope, none of that bullshit. Get out of there. That piece. Well, we definitely won't be able to reseal it. Well, I don't think that was ever an issue.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to be a problem. You just push it through.
Push it all the way through? There's not much left. Yeah, I don't... It's not holding enough to get the knife in.
Yeah.
I mean, it's mostly gone.
I'm used to drinking shit with particles in it anyway.
Go in, damn it.
Try it.
Oh,
you got another one. Keep going.
If you hit mine,
yeah,
my ball, then you're gonna have two.
Okay, Blue. Blue. All right.
All right.
Oh, you hikers are fabulous. You're the cream of the crop. The top of the line. What else can I say? You all have all the qualities of life's best for you.
What do you mean?
See, when you send out your resume for your job, tell them you're a through hiker. And I would say hire that person on the spot.
Yeah.
I don't care what his job is. Just do it. He'll do a job for you.
I know that the
Just think of what you all have here.
companies make one.
Perseverance and dedication and optimism and faith and hope and phenomenal.
This probably
I think you all are wonderful. That's what I think.
This is a hybrid.
Well, we think you're...
The old...
I don't do anything. I just sit here.
Yeah, well,
I don't do anything. I just sit here.
And you're good at it.
Good at sitting, right?
You find it.
No, I really think you all.
Yeah, it was on a trailhead.
See, my sons hiked the
There was
trail
some, like, rotten dog.
when they were
So they'd
teenagers
been there for a while.
in high school one summer. And they said to me, Dad, people were good to us. This is 30 years ago. Why don't you be good to them? Well, yeah. So, no, the main thing is you all do so much for me. I give you much more than you. You give me much more than I give you. I think.
Well,
At least that's what feels to
that's
me.
a nice break. That's for
Yeah,
sure.
it's a good break for
It's
me.
a nice pause.
For you.
And for me too.
Yeah.
All right.
No, I think you all are incredible. Every one of you. Young and old. The youngest has been 6 and the oldest has been 89.
Wow.
89.
To give you an idea of what the trail's like, look behind me. I've been climbing up this all day. It's pretty steep. And I can't even really give you a reference. But look at the angle of my feet. even then, you can't put this in reference, but that is freaking steep. And I've been climbing up it for miles. And then you have steps like this, and it just goes up, 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 up. It just doesn't let up. And we're not even in the whites yet of New Hampshire. We're just in New Hampshire. This is like the foothills of the whites. And it's incredibly frustrating that I'm not going to make it to the goal that I had today. It sounded easy enough, do 16, 17 miles to a shelter, and I've got 2.5 hours of daylight left. And I'm not going to night hike in these conditions. That's the stupidest thing I could possibly do. So I'm just going to have to deal with the fact that I'm not going to get where I want to get today. Another beautiful day in the White Mountains of New Hampshire. Walking along, singing a song, listening to a podcast about Bigfoot. Well, it's been a long, hard day in New Hampshire. Had just some small climbs, but carrying my heavy backpack the past couple of days it's really taken its toll on me, and I kind of just could not get going today. I went most of the day taking long breaks and getting up and going halfway up a hill and taking another break. But anyway, I'm probably around 11 miles in for the day. I was going to put another 1.5 miles or so on and try to get to a road, and across the road is a brook where I was going to set up camp and get a little bit of water and stuff. But I actually found a spot here going up the hill. I was seeing a lot of older moose droppings alongside the trail, like 3, 4, 5 piles. And I got up to the top here, and we have this pond. And as I was talking to southbound hikers who had been through the Whites in Maine, they said if you want to see a moose, you got to get up early, and you got to camp near ponds. And in this pond, you'll see there are a lot of lily pads and aquatic plants just beneath the surface. And moose love to snack on stuff like that. They also like to take a dip and drink water. So the idea is to set up camp here, increase my chance of seeing a moose, and maybe something will be sloshing around in the water. And if not a moose, then other wildlife could also be possible. You don't know, maybe there'll be some water birds come in the morning that are all tucked and roosted for the night, but there might be some water birds, or maybe a bear will come down here to drink, or deer, or who knows, could be anything. But definitely got moose on the brains today. It's been a long, hard day, and I'm ready to call it. So, got enough water in the lake for the dog, and enough water in my bottles for me, I think, so I don't think I'll have to filter or boil pond water, but that's an option if I need it. Well, we camped out here last night, and didn't see a moose. Perfect habitat for a moose. I was reading my moose guide. Yeah, that's right, I bought a moose guide back in Hanover, New Hampshire, but I was reading the moose guide, and it said that they really like shallow ponds at certain times of the year, because of all of the vegetation, and it's easy for them to reach, and it's got all kinds of nutrients. So perfect habitat. But there just happened not to be a moose in the area. Maybe he knew we were there, or stayed away, but maybe there just wasn't anything in the area today, or last night. However, we did have some interesting developments. There was a barred owl. There were several barred owl all throughout the forest here. And one, at one point, was in this tree right here. We had our hammock set up between these two trees. And the barred owl was in one of these trees up in the top. And I could hear him very loudly this morning. And also, one thing I didn't expect, but I was extremely excited about, was a loon. I heard a loon. That's something we don't have where I'm from. That's a Northern Woods exclusive. So that was cool getting to hear a loon. Unfortunately, I mean, I did have my audio recorder out, and I got a lot of different bird sounds and frog sounds and crickets and things at different points in between the night and this morning, but the loon only made a very casual appearance a couple of times, and I didn't hear him the rest of the night, so it was not consistent enough to where I could time it right and get a recording of the loon. But that's a goal that I have. One of my minor goals is to get some good sound recordings of loons at night, and there's going to be tons of ponds and things like this in New Hampshire and Maine, so we've got plenty of opportunities to see things like that, to hear things like that, and to even see that moose. But this is just the beginning. We're not even technically in what's referred to as the Whites. We're in White Mountain National Forest. We're within that boundary. But the Whites are going to start later today when we get up and over Mount Moosilauke, which is a very big climb. And that's kind of the starting point of the White Mountain section of the Appalachian Trail. And that's about 11 miles from where we are today. And I'm feeling better than yesterday, so I'm thinking that we can push for that and do one of the hardest climbs I think we've done yet. So, with that being said, let's stop sitting around talking into a camera. Let's go out there and get it done. So we've been climbing Mount Moosilauke for a while. It's pretty steep. I mean, we've gone from all the way down there. We've come up a couple thousand feet. I have no idea how close we are to the top, but the tree line's starting to thin out. So we got to be getting there, right? Unless we're riding a ridge line and it just gets progressively higher as we go. But I got my music in. I'm listening to all my epic soundtrack music from Lord of the Rings and Legend of Zelda. All these epic questing soundtracks, and it's helping me get up and over. It sounds silly, but I mean, if Frodo and Link could do it, I could do it too, right? We got this. Me and the dog got this. We're almost to the summit. I said less than a mile. 0.9 and a sign just behind us. I was really expecting more from this. But, I mean, I've been almost 1,800 miles. I guess it would take a lot to impress me, right? It's not the whites, the peaks, any solitary peak of the whites that makes the whites difficult. It's the combination, the constant ups and downs of very large peaks, climbing up 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 feet multiple times each day. It's a very taxing chore. And I was talking to Hands and Mouth. Crossed paths with him yesterday. He was going southbound. He was northbound up until his home in Pennsylvania. Then he got a ride up to Katahdin and southbound and back. But I met with him and he had just gotten out of the whites and I was just heading in. And he said to me, respect the whites. It's as simple as that. Just respect them. And they're taxing and they're difficult and you'll lose all your energy. But if for some way you can do 20 miles in a day, then do it. If you have to do 10, do 10. But whatever your mileage, whatever your goals, you have to respect the mountains. You have to respect the whites. That's the only way you're going to get through them.
Gotcha.
Over here.
There you go. Sure.
Look at all these dumb tourists over here, ruining my nature hike. Gosh, can't have no wilderness out here without somebody coming up in their Nike shoes and their North Face jacket and ruining everything. You know, you can't help but feel like you're on top of the world when you're hiking along the top of a ridgeline like this. And this isn't even the highest peak. Comes close, but it's not the highest. I got Mount Washington to contend with. There's another mountain that's higher up than Moosilauke. I don't dive down to as a low of elevation. So really it's about the same distance in climbing. But that's like, I don't remember what that one's called, but we'll get there too. There's a lot of these mountains are pretty good climbs. But the steep one is still Katahdin at the end. That one's over 5,000 feet, and it's directly up from a low crawl and around 1,000 feet, and then in the course of 5 miles, just shoots up 4,000 feet or so. But we climbed a big mountain today. We climbed the first mountain of the Whites, and now we're going into the heart of the Whites. And I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen. But we made it this far. Go on, get down there. Come on, Scout. Go on. You go. No, you go. You go down there. You should use the steps. Easy, easy, easy. Wait for me. Take your time. Every mountain has 2 sides. Going down has been pretty difficult. Maybe a little bit even a little bit harder than going up. South Kinsman Mountain. So we are at a hut in the Whites. We are at the Lonesome Lake hut. And the Lonesome Lake is just down below. But at these huts, they're luxury stays that provide food and such. There's electricity, there's solar panels out here keeping this place charged up. But this place is, they allow work for stay for hikers. So if you come in at a certain time of the day, you can work and get to stay the night free of charge in the dining room, and then get leftovers as well. So that's what we're here doing. We have to keep Bandit outside. They don't allow pets for several reasons, and that's understandable. But this particular hut was nice enough to let him stay out on the porch. And if it rains or something, which it doesn't look like rain tonight, but they have a covered area, so he's not in the rain. But yeah, we got lucky. We got to time it right. We're here, and then we're about 3 miles from the road tomorrow, and we'll get into town and resupply. But for now, we're temporary lodge employees.